Hello, fictional. Welcome to the Fiction Series X. Today we are gonna see, what if Issei traveled back in time with divine power? Part 1. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. The years have passed since Issei become the ultimate pawn and lead his beloved Rias and her team into the top 10 in rating games. He finally achieved his dream of being a harem king. Life was good for him until one day Vali reappear after vanishing without a trace for so many years. He challenges Issei to a final match to see who the ultimate warrior is once and for all. And so this is where our story begins. As the fight rages on, it seems to be an even match. Neither one of them was giving their opponent an opening as fist collided against fist. They continued to counter until divide. X5 Vali backs off from Issei to try to weaken him with a blast of energy from his sacred gear before landing another hit. Issei then shouts, "You're going to have to do better than that, Vali, if you want to land a hit," as he effortlessly dodges Vali's attack. "Damn it," cried Vali. "Take this. Boost," yelled by Issei as he charged straight for Vali. Vali quickly moves out of the way of the attack, but then Issei shouts out, "Mode change. Welsh Sonic Boost Night Boost." X10 in an instant. Issei vanishes from Vali's sight. Using his Godspeed to outmaneuver Vali, Issei reappears from behind and changes again. Mode change. Welsh Dragonic Crook Boost. X10 Vali turns around to try and defend from it, but it fails as Issei lands a direct hit into his chest. Vali cries in pain as he felt the force of a powerful punch. "Not bad, Issei, so this is the power you obtain from fighting the hero faction. I always wanted to fight you using that form, but it won't be enough for you to win." Suddenly Vali begins to start a chant and hundreds of orbs made of energy surrounded him. Are you kidding me? He had that much magic ability still in him to use. He really is a battle maniac. As Issei was thinking and panicking on what to do, another voice in his head appeared. "Calm down and get a hold of yourself, Issei," said Dryag. "How can I calm down when he still has more fight left in him than me?" cried Issei. "Issei, you may have fought Vali a few times before, but you never fought like this. You never knew his full strength, but neither has he known our full strength either. All we can do is dodge and warn out his magic before going back on the offensive," replied Drag. "You're right, Dryag, looks like we're going to have to play defensive and drag this out to win." Sigh. "Why did I have to agree on fighting in this match and the dimensional gap of all places?" said Issei. "It's your fault, you idiot. He taunted you and pissed you off to the point that you wanted to fight him. So don't even complain," yelled Drag. Thinking back to all the things that have to transpire to this battle, Issei sighs in defeat as he knew Drag was right. Before Issei could continue his conversation, Vali interrupts with his magic barrage. "This is your end, Issei. Farewell." With a turn of his wrist, Vali unleashed them upon Issei. Before Issei can even switch to his night form, the attack hits him from all directions with no way out. As the barrage continues, Issei begins to feel faint. The attack has destroyed almost half of the armor. Is this the end? Is this all I can do against Vali? No, what am I thinking? I can't lose, there are too many people that depend on me. Asia, Zenobia, Irinia, Kaneko, Akeno, even Kiba and Gasper. They depend on me, and I rely on them. I have to win this. I have to come back alive to them, to Rias." Even though with all his effort, Issei's body wouldn't move. The attack has ended. Issei's body is so bruised and battered, his armor was almost entirely gone, except for the boosted gear on his left hand. It's hard to tell that he is even alive. Vali then grips Issei by his neck, preparing to finish him off. Until Issei's left arm moves. Gathering a small bit of his magic, he fires straight at Vali's face. Dragon shot boost. X5 in that instant Vali lets go of Issei and backs away. Then at the top of his lungs, Issei cried out, "I, the one to awaken, am the Seker Yuete who holds up the truth of the king up high. Holding the infinite hope and the indestructible dream and walking the road of righteousness. I will become the emperor of the Crimson Dragon. And I will lead you to the path of heaven, glowing in true crimson light. Cardinal Crimson full drive." The crimson aura envelopes Issei and recreates his destroyed armor and color it crimson. "So this is the form you obtained, the true queen, your answer that supposedly surpasses Juggernaut Drive. Well then, let's see if it can defeat my Juggernaut Drive, one that is not clouded by my predecessors." And with that Vali began his chant. "I, the one to awaken, am the hacker Yuiku who has taken the principles of supremacy. I envy the infinite and I pursue the dream. I shall become the white dragon of domination. And I shall take you to the limits of the white paradise." Juggernaut Overdrive. Imperio Juggernaut Overdrive. It is similar, but different to Juggernaut Drive. An enhanced form which only I can use. "You shall taste this strength with your body," exclaimed Vali. "Like I would let that happen," cried Issei as he charges at Vali. Star Sonic Booster. In an instant Issei disappears again. "Bit futile," states Vali as he suddenly began moving at the same speed as Issei. "Damn it, I need to go faster." Boost. X15 Issei now had the upper hand. He ready his fist at Vali. Solid impact booster. As Issei landed his hit, Vali countered him and landed a blow to Issei's face. They sent each other flying in opposite directions. As Issei was trying to regain his posture, Vali spoke. Well, this fight has been enjoyable for the past 2 days, but it's time I end this. The orb on Vali's chest plate began to glow. Suddenly Drake's voice rang out in Issei's mind. Issei. Charge the Fang Blast booster as much as you can right now. Vali is going to use his Long Ina Smasher. Yelled Drake. At the words of Drake, Issei began to focus as hard he could on storing and compressing as much energy as he could into the cannons. Shit, why hadn't I realized sooner? I got to boost the cannons as much as I can, or I'm done for. Exclaimed Issei. Boost. X10. This isn't enough, I got to boost even more than I've ever done. Drake, how much longer until Vali can full charge that attack? Asked Issei. At the rate he's going, another 20 seconds and he's done. You're going to need to perform 2 boosts every second till he fires to counter it. Replied Drake. Can I even do that? Asked Issei, questioning Drake's statement. Of course you can, the chances making it in time are slim, but with your new body given to you by Great Red, you'll be able to handle it. Said Drake confidently. If you say so, Drake, I believe in you, partner. Here we go. Boost. X40. That's it, Issei, you reached the amount we need with 4 seconds to spare. Keep it up. In that case, I'll try for at least 10 more. Boost. X13. Even with all that boosting, Issei, it will never be enough. This is your end. Yelled Vali. Like hell it will. I'm going to make this out alive no matter what. Replied Issei. Long Ina Smasher Fang Blast Booster. As both of them fired their attacks simultaneously, the attacks collided, neither one giving the other a chance to succeed it until suddenly, the energy of Vali's Long Ina Smasher gives way to the Fang Blast Booster in an instant, and a massive explosion erupts, enveloping the two in a brilliant white light. As the light subsides, Issei opens his eyes and can only stare in awe as what he sees before him is something he has never seen before and shouldn't exist in the dimensional gap. Drake, what is that? Says Issei out loud. What you mean, the portal? That, Issei, is a Chronos Nexus Gate. The Chronos Nexus Gate. What caused this to appear all of a sudden? Asked Issei. That would be us, Issei, we're the ones that made it appear. Issei turns around in surprise by the voice of Vali, only to be in shock as Vali has lost his right arm completely and a small part of the right side of his body is burnt to a crisp. Vali. What the hell happened to you? States a nearly speechless Issei. You did this, or rather your attack prevailed and defeated mine. But that's not the point now. Right now our problem is this gate. When our attacks collided, the energy, it unleashed, ripped the fabric of space and time in this area. In normal circumstances, this would be an easy fix. However, because we're in the dimensional gap, the laws of time and space do not apply here, they're distorted. There is only one way to fix this, and that is to send one us through the gate and alter history. Before Vali explains any more, Issei replies. But how and why are we going to just alter history to get rid of this thing? Before Vali could utter another word, Albion speaks up. This gate we created is much larger than a regular Chronos Nexus gate. Once these gates reach a certain size, they begin to act like a black hole that destroys time and space. The only way to close it is to send one of the people responsible for its creation and erase the others from existence. The result is that the gate was never created. Therefore the fabric of time and space is restored. I see, so that's how it is. Wait a sec, that means one of us will have to kill the other. Exclaimed Issei. That's right, Issei, you're going to have to erase my existence. Vali states this calmly. But why, or tell me to do it? I mean, sure, I don't want to die just yet, but neither do you. There's got to be a reason as to why you're telling me to kill you. Said Issei, confused by Vali's statement. That's when Drake explains. When you're inside the gate, you're required to be almost at full strength to alter history. In Vali's state, he won't survive the alteration, which is why you have to do it. But when you erase a person, you also absorb some of their traits, whether it is physically or mentally. However, the good thing about this is that you can choose a few traits, the rest are random and rely all on luck in getting them. I see, hopefully, I don't get any of Vali's bad traits. Said Issei sarcastically. Hey, I heard that. Shouted Vali in response to Issei's insult. Easy, Vali, I'm just joking anyway, I'm ready, let's fix this problem quickly. Says a resolved Issei. Very well, but Issei, before you go, come here. As for Issei approach Vali closer, he notices that parts of his right side was disintegrating. Vali, before Issei could say anything else, Vali interrupted him. I know, Issei, the dimensional gap is turning me into a part of it, which is why I need to do one thing before I die. Please give me your right hand. As instructed by Vali, Issei gave his right hand. Issei felt a surge of energy follow through his body, and suddenly the armor on his right arm turned white and silver wings appeared on his back. Vali, what did you? I learned a forbidden spell that can transfer ownership of sacred gears. I'm leaving Albion and the divine dividing in your care. Sacred gears can't be transferred to a person who uses the gate to erase the current owner. It was a defensive system that God had installed as a precaution if the gates were misused. Anyway, when you travel to time you'll awake at a point where never had your current powers, you won't have met Riaz or the others yet. For all I know you might have to relive your childhood. But that's a good thing cause Albion will be with you the whole time training you to master my sacred gear and maybe help you be less of a pervert and an idiot," said Vali. "Well, sorry for it being a perverted power idiot." Issei states this loudly while feeling a bit depressed from the remark. "Sorry, I couldn't help saying it, I mean even I'm embarrassed at times that my eternal rival is a weirdo. Anyway, Drake will be asleep like before and when he awakens he'll remember everything that has transpired up to this point before going through the gate. You'll be able to change yourself for the better and the outcome of certain events in your life with the knowledge you'll possess. So promise me one thing before you leave, make sure you make it a world far better than this one." After hearing Vali's dying wish, Issei hesitates for a moment until he begins to speak. "I promise to you, my eternal rival, even if you don't exist in the next world, there won't be an opponent as strong as you, I will never forget you," says Issei proudly. "I'm glad to hear that, now go and farewell Issei." And with that Issei jump into the portal. On the other side, there was nothing, a vast white void filled with clock gears and images of all sorts of events and people. Amazing, there are so many things, but how do we find Vali's? Just concentrate and think of him. Hey, I'm talking to him, stop copying me. Both of you stop this arguing and figure out which one of you will do the explaining. You guys are starting to give me a headache. There was a long moment of silence before Albion began to speak. Issei, it's me Albion. After talking to Drake and explaining that he will soon be asleep again, we have agreed that I will be the only one guiding you through on how to use the gate, since both of us need to get to know each other better. That seems fair, very well, I'm counting on you Albion, so how do we find Vali? Ask Issei. That's quite simple, just think of him, and the system will then bring out the panel that has his existence, said Albion as he gave his explanation. Easy enough, let's get to work. Issei began to think of his rival's face and attitude, and sure enough, his panel appeared. Wow, this explains everything about him, from his age, his interests, even names of the parents that abandoned him. Issei quit reading about Vali's life and his secrets, and let's just get this over. I can't hold on to the resolve I have of losing, possibly the best host and friend I ever had. That's right, I almost forgot, it must be hard on Albion being separated from Vali. I gotta make this quick. Alright, let's see how we have to erase him, said Issei as he tries to get adjusted to the system. Suddenly another panel appears and shows the traits that will be transferred to Issei when Vali is erased. Let's see here, increase in stamina, physical strength and intelligence, as well as being Vali's age and slightly better looks. I like this already and I don't need to change anything. Wait a sec, Vali's age, he's the same as Riaz and Akeno. Issei stops and thinks for a few seconds, then suddenly jumps with joy. Alright. I'll be in the same class as Riaz and Akeno, I'm going to love this new life. As Issei states this, he begins to think of perverted thoughts of all the things he could do with them, since he'll be with them for an extra year. Issei, stop with those perverted thoughts right now and stay focused. You can think about that stuff when you're actually with them again, for now you try to not do or think of these things. Oh come on Albion, just a bit won't hurt. Do you want me to hit you right now? The FFT, as if you can hit. Before Issei could even finish his sentence, his right arm began to move on its own and punch him in the face. Oh, what the hell? Albion, how did you do that? Because you're my host I can take over one of your body parts temporary, looks like Drake never used it on you, guess he was being soft on you. If you disobey me again about the perverted stuff I will do it again, do I make myself clear? Yes, I understand, says a displeased Issei. Good, now according to this panel it seems that you'll be sent back in time to when you were in grade 1. So, I'm gonna relive my life from the age of 7, not to mention I'm born 1 year earlier than all the people I knew from before. Wait, I need to pull up Akeno's panel. What for? Another panel appears, this time detailing all about Akeno. Here it is, when Akeno was a child she lived in a shrine just outside of my town before she met Riaz. My plan is this, since I'm going to encounter them differently, I need some way to smooth that process. In this case, I'll become Akeno's childhood friend. When she returns to the human world with Riaz, she'll remember me. Hopefully, she and Riaz will notice that I have a sacred gear right away and try to recruit me into Riaz's peerage. After listening to Issei's reasoning, Albion remained silent for a moment and then replied. That's a good plan. That would mean you'll get your evil pieces sooner and bring you back almost to full strength before the recruitment of the other half of Riaz's group. Exactly, the sooner, the better. Alright, but that means you're going to have to join some sort of sports club to get your physical body in shape until then, that way we can be sure you can use balance breaker. Alright, sounds like everything is set, shall I begin the reset? Asked Issei as he finished all of his preparations. Yes, let's begin, replied Albion, not wanting to waste any more time. Beep X3. The alarm clock rings out, a deafening sound in Issei's room as he begins to try to reach the stand next to his bed, to no avail as he can't reach it. What the hell? Why can't I reach my alarm clock? As Issei thinks about this, he begins to get up to turn it off. He is still half asleep and has yet to notice the change in his body, for he is now shorter and younger. There, at least that annoying clock is off. As Issei begins to look around the room, he notices that it's now smaller like it was before Riaz and the others moved in. That when he notices his reflection from the TV. Issei remains speechless as he stares in shock at the reflection. It wasn't a dream after all. Of course it wasn't, you idiot. Issei nearly falls out of his bed when Albion yells at him. Albion, don't do that again, I almost had a heart attack when you did that. Too bad, I still can't believe you just thought that everything that had happened from the fight at the dimensional gap and in the Chronos Nexus gate was a dream. I'm sorry Albion, it's just that after the moment we reset the world, I woke in my old room, so of course I'm going to assume it's a dream. Well, with the life you live, there isn't anything totally bizarre that could be a dream for you. Point taken. Before Issei and Albion could continue their conversation, there is a knock on the door. Knock X2 Issei, are you up yet? Breakfast is almost ready. The voice belongs to none other than Issei's mother. Issei quickly replies, I just got up mom, I'll be down in a bit. Okay, but don't take too long. Said his mother. Okay. Replied Issei. And with that his mother went to the stairs. Phew. Albion, let's finish this discussion and our plans after breakfast, alright? Very well, you're off the hook for now. Issei quickly got dressed and brushed his teeth, running downstairs for breakfast. The food had already been set and both of his parents just sat down. Itadakamasu? Cried Issei before he starts eating. A few minutes passed before his mom begins to speak. So Issei, what are you going to do today with Irina? Irina and I are going to the top of that huge hill that overlooks the town. Replied Issei excitingly. But why there? You and Irina can go to other places to play. Asked his mother. Irina said she wanted to go, so that's why we're going there. Said Issei as he told the lie. Alright Issei, if that's the case, make sure you keep your eye on her and that both of you are back before sunset. Said his mother. Okay mom, I will. Replied Issei. Phew, that was a bad lie, but I'm glad she believed me. Issei, why are you going to this hill? You're not seriously going there to just play, are you? Asked Albion as he begins to question Issei's motives due to his confusion of the location Issei was headed. Oh, sorry Albion, I forgot to fill you in. You see, back in our original world, Akeno showed me her home, the shrine that she grew at was, and it's at the top of that hill. We're going there to begin our plan. I guess you can call it phase 1. Replied Issei. Okay, now that I understand, it all makes sense. Next time make sure you keep me in the loop about these things. Said Albion. Yeah, sorry about that. Before Issei could get up and leave the table, Issei's father spoke. Issei, there's 14 more days until your first day at elementary school starts. Have you decided on anything you want to do, like a club or anything? Speak of the devil, looks like you're going to find out the sports club I have chosen for us to use as training right now, Albion. Wow, that was a scary coincidence, I tell you to keep me in the loop and it happens. I have dad. I want to do kendo. When Issei said that his father nearly chokes on his coffee. Hey. Kendo. Issei, kendo is a really expensive sport. All the equipment we'll have to buy for you and we can't afford it. Issei tilted his head down in defeat. I knew it, I knew he would say that, he is an average salaryman after all, his paycheck can't afford all that and all the bills. Well, at least you tried. But then Issei's mother joins in on the conversation. Honey, that's not entirely true. We might be able to afford it, but for now we should try to save a bit and to buy some of the equipment he needs. We should check with the school and see if we can rent a used set for him. The fact that Issei wants to try is a good sign, we should let him. But even if we save up all we can get him is the guy and the shinai. If that's the case then I'll a part-time job and all that money will be saved up for Issei, and if that's still not enough I'll ask my parents to help out their only grandson. Issei's father tries to argue back but realizes that it's futile for his mother showed the resolve to see Issei participate in the activity he wants. How does that sound Issei? Asks his mother while looking at him with a gentle smile. Issei quickly runs up and hugs his mother and says thanks mom, you're the best. Afterwards Issei leaves the house to go see Irina and to get her to go with him to the hill. Hopefully she says yes, or else it would awkward if it's just me. She better, or else we're in trouble. Issei rings the door and Irina's mother opens it. Good morning. Oh, good morning Issei. Are you here to see Irina? Yes I am, can she come out and play today? Of course she can, she's in her room right now so why don't you come in and surprise her? And with that Issei walked in and went up the stairs. Irina's door was wide open. Irina was lying on the bed writing something. When Issei got closer, he decides to speak. Hey Irina. Hiya. Before Issei could even finish saying hello, Irina jumped in shocked and tried very hard to hide whatever she was writing in behind her back against the corner of her room. Issei. Don't do that, you scared me. I'm sorry Irina, you were so focused on writing and I couldn't get your attention, that's why I did that. That's okay, I forgive you. By the way Irina, what was that book you were writing in? Irina gives a panic expression and her face begins to turn red as she did not want Issei to know that it was her diary. It's nothing Issei. Why don't you wait outside? I need to change clothes. Wait a sec Irina. I just got here and now you're kicking me out. Even with his protest Irina began to shove and push Issei out of her room. And when Issei is out in the hallway she quickly slams the door in his face. Same old Irina. Just like before, she even has that boyish haircut. I wonder if she'll start growing her hair sooner. Perhaps after we meet Akeno today. Maybe, who knows, they might end up not only as friends but love rivals for you. On another note, I bet that book was her diary. Yeah, that was definitely a diary from the way she was trying to hide it. And judging by the way she acted when she realized it was you, I'd say what she was writing was about you. Well, she was in my harem back in our original world, so I'm not surprised. A few minutes later and Irina came out of her room with slightly red cheeks. So Issei, what was it that you're here for? Well, I was wondering if you wanted to go up that huge hill that overlooks the town. We haven't been there before and I think there's a playground up there as well. Really? That sounds like a great idea. Let's go. Shouted Irina, who was overjoyed at the idea. Okay, that's the second lie I've done today. What the hell is wrong with me? Well, Issei, you are a 28-year-old man in the body of a 7-year-old kid and lying is the only way to get your plans to work, so you got no choice, even though you rarely did back in our old world. Yeah, you're right. I guess this is the price I pay for traveling back in time. Deceiving the ones I'm trying to protect to keep them safe. 11:26 a.m. After walking for some time, Issei and Irina stop for a bit, having reached halfway up the hill. Man, this hill was bigger than I thought, it's almost a small mountain. Don't give up Issei, we're halfway there. Here, I brought a bunch of extra water bottles for us. Thanks Irina. I'm going to go look around, this place looks interesting. Don't go too far Irina, I don't want anything bad happen to you. Irina slightly blushes at the comment. Don't worry Issei, I'll be close by. And so Irina leaves Issei by himself for a bit. I completely forgot how exhausting it was the first time I climbed it, and that was when I was 17. Geez, this is killing me. Hang in there, you're almost there. Yeah right, this rock I'm sitting on is the halfway mark, I sat here the first time I came here. Still got another 30 minutes of walking to go. Albion remained silent for a minute before speaking again. Hey Issei, I got a question. What is it? Did Irina get you into any life-threatening situations when you grew up? Now that you mention it, there have been a few cases. Why do you ask? She's back and look at what she's holding. Issei, look what I found. Exclaimed an excited Irina. Issei turned and looked at Irina and could only look on horrified. In her hands was an Asian black bear cub. Isn't it cute? Irina began to cuddle with the cub until Issei noticed its mother was approaching Irina from behind. Irina, we need to run now. Issei quickly grabbed Irina and made her put the bear cub down and held her hand, running as fast as they could, while the mother bear began to chase them. Ugh, why did this have to happen today of all days? I tried to warn you when I saw her coming back. Then Issei notices a hornet's nest hanging from one of the trees. Irina, I got a plan. Follow me. Issei, what are we doing under that hornet's nest? Trust me Irina, this will work and it'll get the bear away from us. The mother bear easily spotted Issei and Irina and it began charging at them. However, at the last second Issei grabbed Irina and dodged the bear, letting it crash into the tree, causing the nest to fall, enraging the hornets. With the bear now distracted, Issei and Irina ran before they got in the crossfire of the hornet's wraith. After running for some time, Issei and Irina stopped for a bit to rest. Irina, the next time we come through here, don't go wandering off like that. I don't want to deal with that bear again. Issei gives her a displeased look while Irina starts to plead for him to forgive her. I'm sorry Issei, I won't do it again, but look. We're at the top of the hill. Issei began to look around and sure enough, they were at the top. From where they stood, the view of the town looked like something from a painting. It's so pretty, isn't it Issei? Before Issei could reply another voice answered. Of course it is, this is the best place to view the whole town. Issei and Irina quickly turned around and looked at the person from where the voice came from. The person that stood before them was a girl their age with black hair as dark as the night wearing a shrine maiden outfit. Though Issei acted surprised, deep down, he knew who she was. I found you, Akeno, and this time I'll try my best to give you wonderful memories to ease your pain that has yet to happen in this world. While Issei was in thought, Irina was the first to speak. That outfit, are you a shrine maiden? Akeno shakes her head, while still giving a gentle smile. Not exactly. My mom is and she made this for me. Isn't it lovely? Irina nods and gives a look of envy. It sure is. I wish I could wear one. Our shrine is on the other side of this hill. If you want to try one on, follow me. Before they could depart, Issei began to speak. Wait. Huh? Both Akeno and Irina quickly turn around as Issei calls out to them. Shouldn't we introduce ourselves? It would be rude not tell our host our names. You're right, Issei. I'm Arina Shidu and I'm 6 years old, nice to meet you. My name is Issei Haidu and I'm 7 years old, nice to meet you. My name is Akeno Himejima and I'm also 7 years old. It's nice to meet you, Issei, Irina. Now that we introduced ourselves, shall we go to my house? Yeah, lead the way, Akeno. Yes, let's go. And with that the three of them departed to Himejima residence. After introducing themselves to Akeno's mother, Issei and Irina spent the rest of the day with Akeno, having as much fun as they could with their new friend until the sun began to set. Irina, we need to head back home soon. The sun is setting. Ah, you're right, let's go. See you tomorrow, Akeno, said Irina as she waved at Akeno. Don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow. Bye, Akeno, stated Issei. Bye, Issei, Irina, I can't wait for tomorrow. Issei and Irina continued down the hill until they got home. Luckily they made it home before the sunset ended. Haidu residence, 8:30 p.m. Issei lied awake on his bed, thinking of all that had happened today, all that had transpired thus far. Then, a thought suddenly popped into his head. Hey Albion. Yeah, what is it? How long do you think will it take for Drake to awaken? Who knows? A month, a year, or maybe until you get your evil pieces. Only time will tell. For now though, let's focus on Akeno and joining that kendo club. Those are our priorities for the time being. Yeah, but still, just before Issei could finish his train of thought another person enters the room. It's been a while, hasn't it, Issei? The person that appeared out of nowhere was a little girl dressed in gothic Lolita clothing, with hair almost as long as her. Yes, it was none other than the Ouroboros dragon, Office. Still in shock, Issei begins to speak. Oh Office. What are you doing here? And how do you remember me? Office then gets on Issei's bed and sits next to him before beginning to speak. Remember how you helped me make peace with Great Red and I was finally able to return to silence. Issei begins thinking back to that day and how Great Red easily agreed to his request. Yeah, but how does that relate to you still remembering me? Albion spoke up so that even Office could hear. Office is a god that resides in a world where time and space does not really exist. When she obtained her silence, she was able to ignore the effects of the Chronos Nexus Gate while everyone else did not. Office nods to Albion's statement. That is correct. I transferred my present memories to my past self, and so here I am. Issei thinks it over what was just stated. I see. Then Office is the only one that remembers. Office abruptly interrupts Issei. That is not true, Great Red also remembers. Issei gives a shocked look before replying. What, but how? Office grins at Issei's confusing. He was with me when it happened, so we combined our powers, and I shielded him as well. Issei couldn't believe it that the two strongest dragons in existence were able to prevent the power of time and space from manipulating them. Though I have one question, why is Albion with you now and where is Drake? Issei and Albion remained silent, not sure how to answer that question. Finally, Albion mustered the will to speak. Office Vali passed me down to Issei for he was too wounded to use the gate that the two of them created. As for Drake, he remains asleep inside Issei. Office then looks down, realizing she had lost a friend, the only one that would talk to her when she was with Cow's brigade. I see it's a shame that Vali is gone, but it had to be done. Suddenly, Issei asks a question. Office, has Cow's brigade approached you yet? Office shakes her head. They have not, should I ignore them? No, don't, you shouldn't ignore them. Accept their offer, but don't loan them your power. We need them or else the alliance between the three great powers won't happen. Office quickly understands Issei's reasoning and nods. Very well, I will accept them. So shall I do what I have done with like before? Yes, please do. When that time comes, let's go home together. Says Issei with a smile. Yes we will. Now before I go, I have one thing to say. Issei, when you entered that gate, you had triggered a chain of events to occur. His rebirth has begun. His rebirth. I cannot say for the time is not right, but be on your guard, Issei. His heralds are preparing and they will target you, which is why I'm giving you this. Office hands Issei a small pendant on a chain. Both were made of a metal Issei has never seen before. You must wear this at all time. Office, what is? Before Issei could finish his sentence, Office kissed Issei. Their lips met only for a few seconds. Ria's one said to me the first kiss is the most important one. That's why I gave you mine, so stay safe, Issei. And with that, Office vanished from his room. Issei could only stay speechless until Albion got him out of his trance. Boy, Issei snapped out of it. Ugh, sorry Albion, I just can't believe that happened. Well it did, now get some sleep, you must be tired. Yeah, I am. By the way Albion, do you know what this pendant is? It looks familiar but I don't remember. Oh well then, we'll figure it out and if we can't hopefully Drake will awaken and he'll know. Well, night Albion. And with that Issei fell asleep. But outside on the roof across the street, 5 beings clad in armor stood. We finally found him, the one we will use to revive our lord. That may be, but don't forget brother, he is far too young and weak for the moment. We must wait. Yes. When he is older, he'll be strong enough to restore our Lord, and the celestial rebirth can truly begin. Then the gods of this world will tremble at our Lord's might. Issei's room, 12:30 p.m. Issei lies on his bed as he thinks over all that has transpired in the last 2 years. 2 years since he used the Chronos Nexus gate and went back in time. As of now, Issei is now 9 years old and enjoying the remainder of his summer break in his 3rd year of elementary school. Sigh. So much has happened. I got perfect grades in class, all that sparring with Kiba made me the ace of the kendo club, life has been a breeze, and my parents are freaking out thinking I'm some child prodigy. It motivated my dad so much too that he went and did so much overtime, he finally got a promotion. Issei chuckles as he thinks about his father and the work frenzy he went into in the past few months before returning back to normal. Then there was Irina moving away last year, though she sure has gotten cuter and more girly ever since we met Akeno. You were right Albion, those two did get into a love rivalry, said Issei as he chuckled. I told you it was going to happen, and besides that, you got your good grades because you're a 28-year-old in a 9-year-old's body, though I was still surprised at how well training has gone for us, especially with your magic and scared gear training. As Albion says this, Issei begins to think back of what had happened last month. Issei was by himself after school in the kendo club's dojo. After spending a very long and tiring afternoon, Albion suddenly speaks up. Issei, your training seems to be going well, why don't you take a break? What for? I still got plenty of energy to keep going. Asked a confused Issei. That's the point, I want you to try something before you completely tired yourself out. Alright, what is it? Asked Issei with a confused look on his face. As you already know, when you use the Chronos Nexus gate, you gain some of Vali's traits. Yeah, what about it? One trait that I notice is that your ability to use magic has increased. Issei is now in total disbelief at Albion's statement. Wait, are you serious? I am, you'll be able to use same magic as Val did, however since he was a devil, and you're right now just a human, the amount is limited until you're reincarnated as devil. So then what can I do with my magic right now? For now you can channel it into your right arm and activate me. Alright, I'll give it a try. Replied Issei hesitantly. Issei began to channel his magic like he would for his dragon shot. That's enough Issei, now summon me. Divide. In that instant Issei's right forearm is covered in a blue light before revealing the white gauntlet that now covers it. I did it. Issei cries out in joy, however Albion pauses for a moment before replying. Strange, it seems joining with you has altered me. What do you mean? Originally the form of my scared gear were wings that look the same as ones in my balance breaker and dregs. But now it has become a gauntlet just like the boosted gear. But what would cause this happen? Asked Issei, confused by this phenomenon. I believe I have an explanation. When Vali transferred me to you, the scarred gear altered itself to balance out with drag and the boosted gear, becoming a mirror image, a pair so to speak. So what about that orb I stole from you and Vali during our first fight? That orb was restored to me and is no longer a part of drag. And the wings? They no longer exist except for when you're in balance breaker. Anyway, it's not too important. For now, as of this day forward, I'll be training you in how to use me as well as improving your magic. After all, your physical training for the day is over. Ugh, that's such a heavy training routine. Quit whining, it's just an extra 3 hours. You said it yourself, things will be different from before and we have to prepare for them. You're right, I shouldn't be complaining. In order to face the new world we're now in, I have to be stronger and ready to face anything. That's the spirit, let's begin then. Yeah, let's go. And with that the new training routine for Issei began. Issei's room, 12:35 p.m. Hello, Issei, you there? Can you hear me? Issei snapped out of his train of thought when Albion spoke. Huh? Oh sorry Albion, I was just thinking. Oh, well you were zoning out and I had been calling you for a minute and I was about to hit you again if you didn't respond. Geez Albion, you're always resorting to violence. I guess Vali's battlemanic attitude rubbed off onto you. Hey, that might true. However, I'm starting to take it easy since being with you, Issei. I guess so. You don't get angry anymore when I mess up during our training. By the way Albion, how's drag? Why don't you see for yourself? After a short pause Issei closed his eyes and concentrated until he heard Drake's voice. Zzzzzzz. I can't believe that he's still asleep. The power of the gate was strong enough to put him in a coma. Well, judging from your growth rate, Drake won't wake up for another 6 years. Damn, I knew it would take a long time, but I didn't think it would be that much. And what about the pendant Office told to me to always wear? Is it still not ringing any bells? Nothing, I still can't remember where I've seen or what it can do, so keep wearing it for now. Alright, I'll keep this thing on. Hopefully Drake wakes up soon, he might know. I still can't believe Office did that to me. Oh come on, it was just a kiss. Your kind does it all the time. How bad could it be? That's not it, to be her of all people is what surprised me. Well, if it's you, I wouldn't be surprised if you somehow made the Infinity Dragon fall in love with you. Even if Office thinks that way, I won't because I'm not a lolicon. Well, Office can change her appearance to whatever she wants. What if she made herself the same age as Rias and Akeno? At that statement Issei paused and began to fantasize Office with a more developed body. His face began to turn beet red at the perverted scenarios he began to think of until his right fist suddenly hit him in the face. Ow. What did I say about perverted thoughts? Don't think about those things for the time being since I'm still a kid and that I can start thinking about that stuff when I'm with the girls again. Says a displeased Issei. But boy, glad you remembered. Next time it happens again I'll make sure a bone snaps. Issei grows fearful of Albion's statement, unsure of whether it was a joke or if it was serious. I understand. Now that's over with, don't you have somewhere you're supposed to be at right now? When Albion states this, Issei turns around to look at his clock which now reads as 12:39 p.m. Crap, I'm late. I'm supposed to be at Akeno's place by 1 o'clock. And with that Issei left his house and began running as fast as he could across town. Eventually, Issei had reached the top of hill and is walking along on the path to Himejima Shrine. Sigh. The one thing I hate about Akeno's place is the fact that the only way to get there after reaching to the top is walking along this cliff. One wrong step and I'm a dead man. As Issei thinks to himself he then looks at his watch. Ugh, it's 1:12 p.m. Akeno is going to be mad at me for sure. As Issei continues to walk along the path, he doesn't notice the person hiding trees. Suddenly the mysterious figure jumps out, wearing an Oni mask and Shrine Maiden outfit. The person makes roar, startling Issei, causing him to yell in distress and jumps right to his left. Ah. In that split second the masked person was in shock as to what was about to happen to Issei. It was in that instant Issei realized that he had jumped too far and was about to start free-falling to the bottom of the hill. Ah crap, I'm so dead. This was all Issei about as he began to fall. The mysterious girl removed her mask and dove after Issei. While falling, she begins to spread her concealed black angel wings. Issei is completely oblivious of the fact that Akeno is right behind him as he looked down until he heard her voice. Issei. As Akeno is calling out to him, she quickly wraps her arms around his waist and begins to try to pull both of them up. This is bad. If Akeno keeps this up she'll run out of strength and we'll both die. I got to think of something, and soon. Issei, use me. Albion, are you sure? It's fine Issei, your training has prepared you this far. I'll guide you through the rest. Concentrate the dividing energy until we can activate second liberation and use half dimension. Issei concentrated his magic and summoned the divine divide, beginning to accumulate energy until the white gauntlet begins to glow, altering its appearance, almost resembling a dragon claw. Akeno, still trying to pull the two of them up, notices the glow on Issei's right hand can only stare in awe at the gauntlet. It's basically the same as trying to use the boosted gear. Gift. However, instead of shrinking yourself, we're going to just divide your body weight. Got it Albion? Alright, here goes nothing. Half dimension. X5 in that instant, Issei's weight became as light as a feather, and Akeno easily flew the two of them back to the top of the hill. Issei quickly deactivates divine dividing to restore his weight back to normal, hoping that Akeno didn't see it. A moment of silence passes between them until Issei speaks up. Akeno, are you alright? Akeno, with her wings still revealed, has her back facing Issei. She replies, albeit mumbling under her breath. What was that Akeno? I couldn't hear you. Akeno quickly turns around relieving the tears she has been shedding. You hate me, don't you? Issei is in shock at Akeno's behavior and is speechless. Mother always said to never show my wings. I thought it was because they were a different color than everyone else's, but then after meeting you and Irina, I learned that no one else has them. Akeno puts her hands to her face, hiding it so that she couldn't look at Issei. Don't you see? I'm a monster. Issei finally understood Akeno's unusual behavior. I'm the first person outside her family that has ever seen Akeno's wings. Originally, it was supposed to be Ria's sometime after she lost her family. Albion quickly joins in on Issei's thought. Because we encountered her earlier, it altered her mental state, always worrying about you or Irina finding out and what we would have thought of her. Had she just met Ria's first, she would have become a devil and not have this burden of hiding the truth. Having understood this, Issei gets up and walks up to Akeno as she still had her hands over her face. Issei sits down in front of her and embraces her with a hug. Issei. Akeno begins to calm down and, as she removes her hands from her face, Issei begins to speak. Akeno, I don't hate you at all. And your wings don't make you a monster, it's because of these wings that I'm alive right now, because you saved me. Even if you're not completely human, you're still the Akeno I know and care about, and that won't change, no matter what. Akeno is surprised at the caring and meaningful things Issei is saying to her, so much so that it drove her to the point she burst into tears of joy and cried on Issei's shirt as he begins comforting her. After some time had passed, Akeno stopped crying and Issei began to speak. Feeling better now? Akeno nods to his question before she began to speak. I feel a lot better now that I know that, no matter what, Issei will always love me. Issei is surprised at Akeno's sudden statement. Love, holy crap, I didn't realize what I said had that big of an impact. Issei quickly decides to change the subject. By the way, Akeno, what was with that mask? Akeno quickly gives a mean look and turns away before replying. It was supposed to be your punishment for being late. Yeah, I'm sorry, Akeno. I forgot to check the time. Akeno quickly turns back around and gives apologetic look on her face. I'm sorry too, Issei, my punishment almost got you killed. Akeno begins to bring her head up closer to Issei's. Please accept my apology. Of course I'll. Before Issei could finish, Akeno brought her lips to his, the kiss short but fleeting. That was my first kiss. I'm glad you accepted it. Issei was in shock at what had transpired. That was the third kiss he had received since resetting the world. First was with Office on the first day, the second was with Arena a year ago, the day before she moved away, and now with Akeno. Issei started to smile as he began to stand, knowing that his life this time around will be more enjoyable. He presents his hand to Akeno to her help up. Come on, Akeno, we still got a whole day to have fun. We shouldn't just sit around. Akeno takes Issei's hand and nods. Yeah, let's go. We have a lot more memories to make. And with that, Issei spent the rest of the day with Akeno. However, little did he know it would be his last day with her. Sometime later, Issei would arrive to find the Himejima shrine damaged and abandoned. Akeno had still lost her mother, and probably by that point in time she had already encountered Rias and is currently living in the underworld. Issei would continue his training, but little did he know his power would attract other supernatural beings. For now he has been left alone. End of the part 1. So how was this story? I hope you like it. And if you like it, share this story with your friends and like the video too. And don't forget to subscribe our channel for daily awesome fanfiction. Okay, it's time for me to go. Bye bye.